Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and a lot of things are going on right now. If you take what's going on in the world, the chaos, we have things happening at the JFK airport. We had the fires in California, now rainstorms in California. Needless to say, not only that, but we have the economy on a tumble. Things that scream Mark of the Beast style, end of days, if you will, or end times, spoken of in biblical prophecy. A lot of these things are happening all across the country. Well, today I wanted to bring in someone who is a great friend of mine and a movie producer, actor, all of that as well. He's been on my channel a few times, but he's got some insights. Is there a connection? Is there someone instigating this whole thing? And these are the kinds of questions that we're going to address today. But as you know, he is the movie producer of the TV series The Last Evangelist. It's going to be on Roku and Amazon and just some amazing things. And you guys know I'm going to be in the film. David Hebner, who I'm about to bring on, is going to be in it also. So I am extremely stoked to be a part of this production. So David, are you with me over there?
Hey, Lisa, I am with you. How are you out there in Havenland, Havenville?
Havenville, Hebnerville. Yeah, I'm doing great here. As you can see, my little diesel in the back, he's just chilling.
Gotta have diesel. And yes, you are in The Last Evangelist. And here's the problem. You know, you already have your part that you're playing, and I don't want to give that away, even though it's a reoccurring part, and it's a great part. But when you auditioned on camera, I read you for like the lead role. And I was kind of doing it just to warm you up for the other part, if you'll remember. But then I played it for my staff, and they go, wait a minute, hold it. Who is she? What? Is that the girl that does, is that Lisa Haven? I go, yeah. She goes, well, she's pretty good. She can actually, you know, act. And we've read probably about 40 or 50 girls for the lead. So I'm giving you that as a compliment. So, you know, everybody says, well, think about her for the lead. And I said, I don't know. She's too busy. She's busy telling people how the world's falling apart. I don't know. You know.
Well, it's all good. You know, I'm stoked as all get out. And if people want to check out The Last Evangelist, you can do that on lastevangelist.com. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter because that is the way that he's communicating the latest and greatest on that. Again, it's going to be airing on Roku, and you can donate that way also. All right. So with that, David, tell me what is going on in the world. Is there somebody instigating all the chaos, if we're going to label it as such, that's going across the country? We know there's increased riots, increased race wars. It just, you know, things, talk of war with North Korea and lots of tensions with Russia even. So what's going on?
You know, Lisa, when I started writing episodes of The Last Evangelist, because I write it based on the Bible, Matthew 24, Jesus talks about this, as in the days of Noah, these things will be happening. Well, when you're writing, you have to come up with some kind of substance of how these things could happen. And so I start researching, and I am blown away. I mean, I couldn't write this any better. First, if you remember on the last shows we did, we talked about Agenda 21 and how they were hurting people on these trains and putting them in. They're trying to get people out of the country and gather them together into modern day ghettos. Well, now you got this thing at JFK Airport, and you know they got snowed in. There's fistfights there. There's all kinds of chaos. And I'm going, wait a minute, hold it. All they have to do, and I'll get to they in a minute, is take 4 or 5 of these major airports at the same time and let this happen. And you pretty much shut down the whole country, right? So you got that. Now they're talking about rains coming into California. And as you know, half of California is caught on fire. So now it's all ashes. And that's not the worst part. Wait until the rains come. And when that does the damage there, right? Now you've got the racial tension. You've got all this, and I'm here to tell you, and I'm not a conspiracy guy. I don't come up with I try not to come up with all this, you know, hocus pocus and far out crazy stuff. But Lisa, it's far out and it's crazy. I'm sorry, but there's something behind this. There's some entity behind this. And this is what I'm writing about in The Last Evangelist. And it's pretty shocking.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to bring you on again, is I find it intriguing and interesting because I've read through the dialogue on the series, and to see some of that actually happening and coming out, and you get to tie it in, which is kind of your premise on that, is you're tying in the news, you're tying in what's going on, reality, if you will, into that. And, not only that, but, I see the same things you're seeing on my channel. I don't like to call them conspiracies because they're not conspiracies. A lot of things that people believe are conspiracies. The government has labeled it a conspiracy simply so they say it's false and you don't believe it. Well, that's not the truth. The truth is chemtrails are real. There's documented evidence. People call it a conspiracy, but it is absolutely not. In fact, and I'm just giving an example here, the chemtrails that they put on the people, they do it in the name of Agenda 21, in the name of saving humanity, because they say it's reflecting the sun rays. The aluminum, the barium and strontium that they're dropping on everyone will reflect the sun rays, and that's why they do it. This is supposedly to save the planet. Well, one can speculate that they're ruining the planet. Obviously, this accounts for a reason that Alzheimer's and dementia and all these diseases have really skyrocketed. What is going on here? And that's the thing with these so-called conspiracy theories. Same with some, let's take what the Bible talked about. It talked about a mark that's going to go on the hand or the forehead of every person. And without this mark, you cannot buy, sell, or trade. Well, it's a fact. It's in the Bible. It's written verbatim, just like that. And here we have, hints at that. We have the RFID chip, which can be implanted into our because it does say in the Bible, in the hand or forehead, just clarifying. But it does, that's something to think about, that they could absolutely use something like that to implement a system such as what's spoken of in biblical prophecy. Now, one could say it's just all a coincidence. Well, possibly so, but I think the Bible's got a little more ground than Nostradamus, who really you could read 100 things into some of the things that he's saying, just putting it bluntly. But when you take all that together with what's going on in the world, I think there's definitely an instigator here.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? I mean, first of all, who else knows it better than God? Matthew 24, when Jesus was talking about what you understand the signs, the weather, but you can't look around you and see what we're up against. And Lisa, we're living in that day again today, where no one's willing to really look around and see the real signs that's happening, except for a few people like yourself. And like me, and there's others that we know that are doing it, but we got to wake people up before it's too late and let them know what's happening. Now, a few other things. CES, which is the big technology based convention, it was in Las Vegas, and they had, basically, I'm going to paraphrase, but they called it a church, a cathedral for the techies. Okay, it's like the techies church. And in this, they introduced so many things that has to do with the chip, meaning robots, houses that you can turn on and off and shut down, but it all takes a chip. You don't have to go to the doctor anymore. Everything is done with a chip, right? And they've got, of course, the self-driving cars. So everything is just so quick and easy. But, Lisa, it all happens with a price. The chip. You have to have this chip, even though they don't call it that, okay? And so now, and as I'm writing, again, The Last Evangelist, I've got to come up with, I don't want to say theories, but I've got to come up with subplots. I've got to come up with reasoning so people will watch this and go, oh, okay, I understand. It's true. For instance, I believe they're going to start having smart cities. They're already in the process of having cities that are smart cities, and they're going to be spread out through the United States. In these cities, you will not be able to function in unless you have a chip. So therefore, you go visit, let's say, and I'm going to tell you one of the episodes, the cities I have listed in my episode is Santa Monica, California. Recently, in the past 2 or 3 years, they've moved down from San Francisco, so they call it the Little Silicon Valley, where it's all techies, Santa Monica. I believe they're going to turn that into a smart city. That's going to be one of the smart cities. So you want to go visit Santa Monica, they may give you a temporary chip to use just to get used to it. Now that you're used to it.
I'm sorry to cut you off. That's something you're putting in the movie, right? Something like that? Yeah, Here's what I want to add to that. I don't know. I know some of my viewers have seen it, but America2050.org or .com. I want to say .org. It's an organization in which they've already separated the America into 11 mega cities. You should add that. Make it 11 mega cities because it's a legitimate thing and they want to do this. I forget, 2050, obviously. So you should put those 11 mega cities in your movie because they're actually what the government is headed after. And so they've divided America into these 11 sections in which the ultimate goal is to highly technologize those, or however you say it, those areas and basically move everybody in from the rural areas. And I threw that up on the screen for people to see, but that's what I'm talking about. They're legit things and you can bring them straight into this movie, but you should bring that in, but check it out.
No, it's amazing. And, I want to get off the tracks a little bit. Remember when you did an interview on me about 7 months ago? This whole thing has happened just in the past 7 months. There at that Watchman convention. Yeah, you were the first one to do an interview. That was the first time I was telling people about Last Evangelist. It was just birthed. Now, I don't do what you do. I don't, do the news and stuff. I'm a serious, but you see how all this is coming together to where God brings people like yourself and people like me who can implement this information and get it out to people, right? Of course, you get it out in your way, but through a TV series, we're going to get it out to a whole brand new audience, and hopefully a bigger audience, right? And so it blows my mind. And I thank God so much that I can team up with people like yourself as an army for God to get this information out, and I just want to mention that if anybody wants to get involved in Last Evangelist, as a prayer partner, please go to lastevangelist.com and sign the newsletter so we know who you are. And if you choose to donate, there's a donate button on there. You can different things. You can be in the movie. You can get a T-shirt and so forth. Because God told me not to go to investors, to keep this clean. Go to God's people. I just wanted to deviate from that for a moment, Lisa. But getting back to the cities that are going to be smart cities. So I think what you're saying is that they've now picked out these 11 areas that they could actually turn into smart cities, right?
The plan is to turn us into smart cities by 2050, those 11 mega regions, and basically pull in the rural population. Now, how and if they meet that 2050 deadline, they're usually backed up on their deadlines 10 years, sometimes more than that. So I would shoot more for 2060 maybe if they get there. But the goal is to move us all into these 11 mega regions for sure.
Amazing. Do you believe, because I know you're a Christian and you do this because of your faith, do you believe that God is putting people like us together in these times, I call them end times, so that we can be a channel or to help people get out the word and get out the truth of what's going on?
Absolutely. I mean, if we weren't doing it, I guess God would use someone and anyone. He used a donkey to speak once in the Bible. So yeah, absolutely. And that's just where we are. I'm a solid Christian and I love what I do and I share when I can. So, definitely 100%. Now, with that, we'll kind of just close because I don't want to go too long on these, but share the website again, how people can donate. And I want to encourage you guys, please donate. This is how he's getting the funding for the movie. Again, I don't get any break off this. I'm just, I'm going to be donating as well. So just because it's an amazing show and, I think it's a great way to reach out of Hollywood's grasp. Cause we could I have some bad words to say to Hollywood, but I won't. I'm nice, right? But anyway, it's good to do it outside of that and hit the Roku and hit the Amazon and all of that. So share all that information for me, David. Oh,
yeah, I will. Go to lastevangelist.com. Sign the newsletter so you're a part, like I said. And please, your prayers are the most important thing to me because prayers move mountains. But also it takes money to move cameras and camera crew and actors and stuff like that. So if God leads and you have, the funds to do it, get involved with this financially, become a partner at lastevangelist.com. I really do appreciate it and appreciate people like Lisa really helping out and you being in it. Lisa, there's one last thing I want to say. On our next show, I really have something to reveal to you regarding this new Netflix show, and it's a very dark teen comedy. And in the actual title itself, is the F-bomb. That's part of the title, okay? And then I'm going to share with you some stuff on Andy Mack, how they're working some really dark stuff into a Disney show. And I'm talking deep, dark stuff. So that'll be on our next show.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. And don't forget to go to The Last Evangelist or lastevangelist.com. I'll leave links below. Subscribe to the newsletter. Keep everyone in your prayers and donate if you can. Well, thanks again for tuning in. This is Lisa Haven and David Havner signing out.